All right, fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Welcome to your tarot love reading. We're going to talk about the person on your mind, what they are feeling, thinking, their goals, and their possible actions towards you. Please come into the reading with an open heart and an open mind, a desire to learn something, to better yourself. If the messages that come through don't resonate for you, that's totally fine. Push them aside. You may want to revisit them at a later time or date. Never force anything to fit your circumstance or scenario. Trust your own intuition above all else. Let's see. That being said, let's set the intention. Let's get you some helpful, insightful messages. This is going to be a collective reading for my fire signs, though I have a feeling you're going to have cross watchers here too, fire signs. So let's see what's going on, because they want to know what you're thinking as well. So we'll talk about that. All right. Fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Let's do it. Let's do it. So what is your person coming off as? Tapping into your person's energy. Coming out in pairs. All right, let's see. Oof, tricky. All right. So bottom of the deck is strength. So Leo energy, maybe you're involved with a fellow Leo, or there's another Leo involved, possibly. Strength to me a lot of times has to do with like your inner strength, not necessarily acting on your desires, but rather maybe needing to filter it through a process of feeling things out or thinking things through. We'll come back to that. It's a strongly sexual card, but I almost get with the cards coming out, you're having to sort of like refrain from those impulses of like wanting to jump in bed or something like that. And again, anyone's welcome to this reading. You can view this through the lens of like business partnership, but I am reading for love. So you're going to hear things that are more romantic relationship related. And if you're wondering about your person, odds are you're kind of in a situationship or figuring out what it is. So this probably isn't for someone who's, 3 years into a marriage, but again, take what resonates, leave the rest. So here we go. So your person is coming off as 8 of Cups. So emotionally detached. Ugh, not the greatest message to start with, especially in a romantic reading. I'm going to lean into the things I like about the 8 of Cups, which is a card of bravery. Knowing that it's not worth settling. And knowing that sometimes we have to distance ourselves from things, people, places, whatever we loved, that at one point in time may have given us emotional fulfillment, but ultimately, that red says there's passion elsewhere. Like I have to follow my impulse, which is that there's something more out there for me. So, if you're not with your person and you're hoping they come around, maybe that's a good message, right? But yeah, ultimately when the 8 of Cups comes up, it's emotional detachment. From you, I don't know. We'll figure that out, fire signs. So then what is your person feeling? I can tell you they're feeling overwhelmed, and they're also in assessment mode. They're feeling like they don't have a clear answer because there's a lot going on in their head. And I believe this is a Mars card. Is that right? I think it's Mars and Gemini. So it's like the thoughts, the perceptions, they're not necessarily true. They're changeable and adaptable with Gemini, right? Like some days they believe this, some days they don't. But with Mars energy involved, frequently with the 9 of Swords, there's almost like a negative self-talk or feeling inferior or self-hatred or kind of those things that burn, those things that sting, the things they're telling themselves about this. It's like no one's meaner to this person than they are to themselves, which is like a really sad message. They're definitely lacking self-worth. They're not feeling like they're good enough. They're questioning. It's almost like, did I screw this up so bad? Can I make it better? Or is this so beyond sort of me able to participate in a healthy way? There's a lot of like kind of, it's an emotional reaction, right? With what are they feeling, but they're all up in their head in terms of, this is a Saturn card too. So Mars and Saturn, you kind of have the two malefic planets coming through and what they're feeling. So they're not feeling great. 7 of Pentacles is an assessment of, do I put in more work? Do I roll up my sleeves and know that there's going to be a return on my efforts later? Or is it kind of like, I better cut my losses, call it quits because this doesn't seem like something I can fix? Or with Mars energy, maybe I'm giving it my all and it's just not materializing in the way I'm hoping it will. So that's a loaded message, fire signs, right? That's a lot. That's kind of heavy. Let's keep going and see kind of where this goes. So what are they thinking? What are they communicating? Queen of Cups. I feel like this is probably representing you. I think they're thinking about sort of the recipient of who they want to give their love to, give their cup to, that sort of thing. It's funny because the Queen of Cups is typically a very strong card of psychic intuitions, being able to receive and give messages non-verbally, very good readers of body language, right? But yeah, being in tune with something greater, like the spiritual connection or the spiritual advice or the spiritual wisdom behind what's going on. But what's interesting is I don't feel like they're a good... I'm hearing the word receptacle, recipient, however you want to say it. I don't feel like they're able to receive those high vibing messages because they themselves are not in a good place. So usually they're quite intuitive and maybe you're dealing with a water sign. It doesn't have to be. I say that because of the court cards coming up here, but usually it's like they're quite intuitive and like their gut instincts, King of Wands, right? Usually those are on point, but here they're like, I don't know, they're all up in their head. For some of you, this could have been a scenario where like on again, off again, or maybe this is a breakup, but you're both still kind of thinking about each other. That's sort of what I sense from this so far. I think this person is trying to be very, I'm going to sneeze, sorry if I do. I feel like this person is trying to be, excuse me, very analytical about what they're feeling. You know, when you're mixing that air energy, our thoughts, our knowledge, our processing, right, with water, it's like we're trying to think our way through a feeling. Or maybe they're trying to feel their way through a thought. I don't know, whatever it is. It's challenging, though. To be honest, I feel like, the Queen of Cups here, especially with what she's looking at, I feel like the cup is closed, but it's possible that they're waiting for you to make the first move or the second move or seeing how the chips fall, because I feel like they're in a place where they're certainly not in a good place to reach out. If anything, I'm almost getting the idea that they already did, and almost as a way to apologize or come back to you, or try and make something right. And it's almost like they felt like they dug themselves into a deeper hole. And so now they're kind of trying to hold it together emotionally, but they're really struggling with that. But I almost think that they're in wait. They're sitting waiting to see what the response will be from you, fire signs. And so we'll pull cards on the other person involved, because maybe this is you and there's, you know what I mean? But I'm going to pull cards for like what the fire signs are going through too, in terms of how it matches the energies. So then what is this person's goals? Like, I'm a little worried. Your person has some real challenging energy. Financial health and mental health for sure. I would even say physical health too. When you mix the Five of Pentacles with the King of Wands, it's a Taurus card, Mercury in Taurus, so it could be difficult medical news or difficult medical health challenges, struggles. It could be mental health, and it could also be financial health too with the Pentacles. But then with the King of Wands, it's like they see themselves being in a better place. It's not that they want to be here, right? Life happens, circumstances happen, but I think they have a lot of building and work to do before they're starting to feel confident again. Ultimately, what is their goal? They want to feel high vibe again. They want to feel confident. They want to feel powerful. They want to be their witty, charismatic, beautiful, sexy, passionate self. But there's definitely something getting in the way. And maybe it's not the relationship with you. Maybe they're just going through a difficult time. But yeah, I'm going to keep going. We're going to dig more into this, but. Yeah, it could be that they've gone through some sort of a challenging circumstance with their finances, and it's really beaten their confidence down a bit. And then in terms of what action are they going to take? Three of Swords. It's like this. I hate to be so negative. This is so not the type of reading I like to do, but ultimately I have to honor what the messages are. The first action your person is going to take is to sink deeper into this, and ultimately. You can't come in and rescue them. This is their own path. This is their own narrative. And ultimately this lesson of, not being in a great spot mentally, if they dig into that a little bit deeper, hopefully they're going to hit a breaking point where they kind of come to this screeching halt of okay, this can't go on anymore. Whatever is going on with me and my feelings. And at this point, I got to fix this. And so there is an opportunity for empowerment here, but it comes kind of delayed. I just don't think this person is in a good place to open their heart up. Or if they already did and there's not a the thing is, but you're watching a reading on them though, right? So in theory, you still have some shred of hope that something about this is going to work out, right? I'm making that assumption. But yeah, something's got them down. I wanna kind of throw in some cards and see what the mixed energy is here. I feel like this person is feeling hopeless. They're feeling like they're really having a tough time at it. They're thinking about their love life, and if they're able to offer themselves up right now in a romantic partnership, because they're not operating at a high vibe level. Like they're questioning their ability to love wholly and fully, because ultimately this might be like I need to love myself first type deal. Oh, sorry, fire signs, I said it. And then their long-term goals, yeah, they want to get their groove back. They want to get their confidence back. They want to feel alive, and they want to feel passionate again. They might be quite literally thinking about a water sign. So, I'm not going to assume anything, but there might be a water sign involved here if that doesn't sound like you, fire signs. But, maybe you have strong Cancer in your chart, whatever. Take it if it resonates. And so action, yeah, it's like the action they need to take is mending their heart. They need to focus on themselves and pay attention to that. Yeah, that's why strength is coming out. It's like taming our desire to skip over the difficult stuff, the challenging stuff, and just push it on down and, put on a smile and be like, everything's great, I'm fine, no worries. That's so not the case here. And the thing is, you're pretty intuitive. Like, you probably know that. I think if this is representing my fire signs, in terms of goals, it's like they're trying to build themselves back up to be the best version of themselves, potentially to connect with you, but that is not like a Cinderella story that's going to happen overnight. It's going to take a lot of willpower, a lot of strength, a lot of finding personal motivation to do the work on themselves and get to a point where they are able to love and love themselves for that matter. So where are my fire signs in terms of this? You want to build with them. Or at least you're considering it. But here's the thing. I think you know that it's not all sunshine and rainbows. This has been a challenging situation. What are the fire signs feeling? You want to know the truth. You want the situation to equal out. You want equal give and take. You don't want to feel like you're doing all the work. You want this person to participate fully in this. But I think part of you knows that they're not in a great space to do that. What are you thinking? You're thinking of reaching out, I think, because you're concerned about them. You may also be thinking about your children or kids, or how kids impact this relationship. I think you're wanting to cheer them up. I think some of you are leaning into like humor as an attempt to pull them out of this. And it's not to say you can't do that, but it's so much more complex with, hey, just smile, everything's fine. Like it's this fire signs. I think this very heavy energy might make you a little bit uncomfortable. And so your instinct is to just make it better with the tools that you have available to you. But I would be cautious in using like kind of glossing over like, I don't know, like, tomorrow's a brighter day, and, put a smile on your face, and like, because it sort of feels like it's not acknowledging the severity of what they're going through. Like, it feels very just like, do you understand what I mean? Like, it's insincere, or there's a better word for it, but it seems a little bit dismissive maybe of what's actually going on here. Yeah, before you communicate with this person, and I'm not saying you can't or shouldn't, you do have a card technically of communication, but I think you're being told to really think about the way you present this, almost as if it were like a quote unquote gift or package. Before you present this communication to this person, really take time to think, how is it going to be received? Could it be misconstrued? Am I operating out of truth? Or am I saying what I think they want to hear or need to hear? And the best example I can give to you is like, hey, I totally understand that you're not doing good. Like, let's just be friends. But in reality, you're like, but I also want to marry you. Like, so that's what I mean. Like, really think about what you're going to communicate to them, because it needs to come from a place of authenticity and authentic emotions. So if your authentic emotions is like, hey, like, I really care about you. I love you so much, and I don't know how to help you. Great. You can do that because that's authentic and that's your truth. You don't need to solve anything for this person. And you shouldn't, right? Boundaries. This is their storyline, and you may be a character in it, but you aren't the main character in their personal narrative, right? Fire signs? Even though you want to be. I know that. I know. There's no reason to not respond or send them, a good thought or something from the heart. heart, right? Speak from your heart, from the truth. It may come off as a little bit naive or immature, but again, as long as you are coming from a good place, by all means, do what you got to do. And in terms of your goals, 10 of Swords. I think your goal is to try and like fix this or shed some light, some illumination on what has been discovered because of this. I think ultimately some of you who are operating at a higher vibe and you're able to digest this. I mean, I'm realistically, I've already lost half of you because this isn't the greatest storyline. But for those who are here and are genuinely like trying to take something of value away from this, that's why I'm here, right? I don't want to say false things or tell you what I don't see. For a lot of you, your short-term goal may be to distance yourself from this because it is disappointing, because this person isn't in a place where they can receive you and engage in a romantic relationship that has a good stability and emotional health to it. They still have some pieces of the puzzle that they're working on. Maybe this person is in the process of going through a divorce, but it's not just this, okay, I'm done with that, on to the next thing. Like, no, obviously if they were in a marriage or a long-term partnership, at one point in time, they very much cared about this person, right? They potentially built their life around them. So with that gone, it's like a big chunk of their life is now displaced or missing or different. And there's like a very necessary kind of opportunity to grow from this, but it's like finding their footing again. Whereas, when you guys met or whatever this is, it's like you seem to be in a fairly good place. You have pretty positive cards in terms of ready to get back out there and do the thing or finally connect with this person. But with your goals regarding this person, it might be to really shed some light on yourself. And I don't mean this in a negative, critical way, but what is it about this person that to you was so right and such a good fit? And is that something that maybe instead of discovering through a partner, you need to discover more in yourself? And again, that's by no means like you're not ready, you need to do the self-work. I'm not turning it back to that, but ultimately there is something to be learned here. Gemini energy, Sun in Gemini, the illumination of our thoughts, goals. Maybe your not perception, but I'll say it anyway. Maybe the perception of relationships is going to shift a little bit for you, fire signs. Maybe some of you are still trying to detach from a Gemini that broke your heart or something that didn't go well, and maybe that is or is not related to this storyline. Maybe some of you are feeling very deep feelings for a Libra. And then in terms of actions that you're going to take or should take, the moon. I would wait till there's a little bit more clarity. There's a lot of kind of Neptune transits, Mercury's in retrograde. There's a lot of things just not appearing as they naturally are. And I think you need to be really honest with yourself. Is there something that sort of calls out to your ego to reach out in this relationship? Because, and I'm not attacking you. There's like a really nice quality about this, but in sort of a twisted way, there's almost like this, I feel validated in this relationship because I know that they need me, because they need someone to rescue them or be the hero, when in reality it's like you're not being asked to rescue anybody. Like Pisces energy, kind of like victim mentality. I think there's something about that where it's like I'm getting people who are fire water energy here, like Scorpio Sag, or what are my other ones, Pisces Aries, or let's see, Cancer Leo. Like it feels like a conglomerate of both. And maybe that's who you're dealing with, right? Very possible. But yeah, you can't save this person. You can't rescue this person. You can be there for them in a friendly capacity and cheer them on and ask if they need help with anything or be a listening ear. But yeah, it's almost like trying to be, I'm hearing words like martyr or savior or victim or all these kind of words we associate with that moon energy. Healthy boundaries. Healthy boundaries are good, especially with the Justice card as well. The Magician. Yeah, this might be a good time to work on manifestations elsewhere. Not to say you could never revisit this, but it feels like things are a little bit hung up. Moon is not a very strong action card. I kind of see this as hopeless romantic, like, what are you fire signs likely going to do? You're probably going to dream about this a little bit, right? You're probably going to, hopeless romantic. Maybe someday they'll see the light. And like, you can do that, but not if you're putting your own life on pause. And to be honest, the Three of Pentacles likely says there's probably other people around you that want to build with you. So maybe this is not a period at the end of the sentence. Maybe this is like a ... Like, we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, maybe invest in something that feels more, maybe within your control, but also a greater sense of ease and peace and harmony. There isn't this person who's like the one who needs to be rescued and the one who's running in to save the day. There needs to be someone who's on solid footing. And right now, this one anyway, it's like they got to find themselves again a little bit. Anything I need to hear? Sabotage. Yeah, don't self-sabotage, but that might be for your person too. That feels very much connected to your person. And then role model, being an inspiration to others, having positive recognition from a lot of people. That feels like you. That feels very fire sign energy. Be the light, right? Other people want to watch the light and look at the light and, catch warmth from the fire. So you do you. And know that that's going to come back to you. There's going to be something in your life where you're drawn to it and it's healthy and it's burning bright, So ship and cup of coffee. Cutting ties, moving on, receiving what you need, progression and arriving. And then meeting, talking, savoring the moment, feeling elevated, building friendship. That is ultimately what I think is warranted here. For some of you, this doesn't feel, I mean, for most of you, I don't think this is brand new. I think this is kind of like someone you've always had feelings on, or hoping that they leave their girlfriend or boyfriend to come to you. It feels, or, maybe it was kind of like a friends with benefits or whatever it is. Right now, I don't sense that there's a lot of like animosity. I don't think that. I think this person wishes they could be better for you, but they just aren't. And that has nothing to do with you. Again, this sounds so dismissive, but like that's a them problem, but it's also a source or an opportunity for empowerment for them to get their life back on track. And maybe if the timing's right, you'll be ready and waiting, or maybe not waiting, but ready to accept them into your life in a new capacity. But right now, this feels like a great opportunity to be a good friend. If you can hold yourself to that, right? If you can draw the boundaries and not self-sabotage and be like, okay, we're friends, but I also want way more from you. If you can genuinely operate in terms of a like, yeah, let's be friends and see what's up. Grab coffee with them. Again, it's like, I think this person would benefit from some social interaction and knowing that they have some love and support, but they're just not in a good place to like, be hot and heavy. I just don't see that right now. For my fire signs, if they are willing or able to disconnect from this, what else? In fact, let's ask for each element. If my fire signs are interested in a water sign, the water sign might be a little bit indecisive, but Pentacles say potentially. Waiting for the storm to pass. They may be going through something personal and not able to fully commit to dating right now. Air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, King of Cups, love it. Yeah, so maybe be on the lookout for a new air sign, possibly a Scorpio. Earth element, so Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. If it's funny, my ear is ringing all of a sudden. If you're interested in an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, put a ring on it. Love it. Good family vibes. It's like somebody feels like home. You may have a natural kinship with their relatives, with their family. It's like you felt like the missing link. Especially for those who didn't come from an upbringing, who have a particularly warm relationship with their family. It's like you're going to be welcomed into a new crowd. I like that. And then if you're interested in a fellow fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Ugh, yeah. Maybe. Again, see, this feels like who I just read for, which is exactly what we said earlier. The water and the fire stuff is a little bit wonky right now. And I am reading for new people, but it's interesting that that's being mirrored back. So that says to me, this isn't a singular situation. This is like you watching this reading right now, insert your name. This is not a storyline that is very unique to you. There's a lot of signs going through this right now, particularly who has strong fire and water in their chart. So I'm just putting it out there. And to be honest, I don't think anything has been determined fully. This feels like a ... Like it's not like done. It's like, for now, we got to put a pause here, like push pause. So for a brand new water sign, what's the deal here? Yeah, I don't love that. They have a lot of fear and self-doubt. And then for a fire sign, a new one, they're grappling with a lot of like inner demons too. They are fighting for... It's like they're fighting for their emotions to be recognized and nurtured. But again, like that's a them problem. Like they need to do that for them. They can't lean on dating and relationships to make themselves feel better. They need to get in touch with their own emotions, their own inner child, and find out what's going to make their heart happy before they're ready to be in a relationship fully and do that. Yeah, okay. Last but not least, we'll do one of these. Sorry, fire signs. If you stuck with me, you're tried and true. I appreciate you. This was a tricky reading. It feels heavy. It feels like you're worried about your person and that they're going through a lot. Let's see. Healing family issues. Your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. And then one more. Chemistry. There's a strong magnetic attraction here. All right, guys, that's what I got for you. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and I will see you very soon for more tarot readings. And if you're celebrating, happy holidays.